friends and clients of mine are currently recovering from Hurricane Helene, which has done a lot to non-coastal areas, which is kind of scary and amazing. And also now from an explosion of a biological factory outside of Atlanta. And all that stuff sucks. But what I really wanted to make a video about this morning is when I got pissed off about something that someone told us. And so I wanted to share this with you. This is a redacted report that's from a client of mine. And he is himself a spray foam contractor who is building a home for himself. And we got on the phone to talk about ventilation and kind of details to do with the HVAC. And he sent me this, what is called a HERS rating. This is REM rate. And I don't do a lot of talking about energy modeling on this channel. I've done a lot of energy modeling. I used to be a HERS rater and run a HERS rater organization. So I know the ways that you can cheat this. And this, he was not even aware that his energy modeling company was lying to him and helping him to lie to clients. This is a classic thing that was done by a lot of spray foam contractors once they found out that they could use computer modeling to build fantasy lands about how much better spray foam is than regular insulation. And I want to show you exactly what they are doing to lie about this. And this guy who built this energy model had to have been conscious that he was lying about this. There's no way that he did not purposely do this. So this client of mine will no longer be working with this person. So essentially what we've got here is a comparison. We've got the fiberglass, if we use that in the renovation, and we've got the spray foam renovation, which is everything else being the same, except for what we're specifically spelling out in this report. And you can see that heating wise, we're going to spend like less than half what we would if we used fiberglass. We're going to spend less than half on cooling. We're going to save $600 a year on our energy bills by using spray foam. Here is why that is complete, absolute fabricated nonsense. What they are doing here is a couple things. Number one, they're saying that they're going to build an R60 fiberglass attic versus an R20 spray foam attic. I'm going to spell out exactly how this doesn't work at all. But in the meantime, I want to point out that this kind of thing doesn't just take normal homeowners. This takes actual code officials and actual people who are involved in writing the codes at the state level. They look at a report like this and they hear some slick guy talk about how, and it doesn't have to be a man. I guess women can be, slick talking liars too. But they'll talk about how this is how the science works. And they'll say, okay, great. Well, if you install less spray foam, therefore, we can still meet code. And that's actually built into codes in several states. Here is the problem. The R60 fiberglass attic here is a description. They typed that in. Those are the words that they're using to describe this attic. As you can see from this U factor here, the U factor is 0.062. So if we take 1, divide by 0.062, it gives us R16. There is no way that an R60 attic would actually act like an R16 attic. That is stupid. So that's number one, is that this person is intentionally misleading you and lying to you about what is in the base model. In an attic, technically, there are little joists in the way, but most of an R60 layer is continuous insulation. Therefore, it is, when you say it's an R40 continuous layer, it's literally going to perform like an R40. The stuff that's in between the ceiling joists, that's poured in between the 16 on center pieces of wood, is going to perform less well. And that's where like an R20, I say it's R20, but really it's R16 because the wood is in the way. But an R16 plus an R40 doesn't equal R16, it equals R60 or something close to it. Over here, they're calling it an R20 spray foam attic. But if you take that U factor, which is 0.045, we do 1 divided by 0.045, we get an R value of 22.2 repeating. So you're going to spray an R20, but somehow you're going to get R22.2 out of it, despite the fact that it's going to be almost continually interrupted by pieces of wood. So again, this is a total lie. They've just made this up. Now let's move further down the list. Above grade wall, R30 fiberglass. Again, 0.060. That's not R30 on the above grade wall. That's again R16. It's almost exactly the same as this U value that they did up here. And we're comparing that to an R19 over here, 0.044. And 0.044 is actually better than 0.045. So 1 divided by 0.044 is now an R22.7. So we're going to spray R19, but we really get R22.7. Down here, we got floors again, underestimating, overestimating, right? This is the best R value of all. We're playing an R20, but instead of getting an 0.045, we're getting an 0.041. That is 1 divided by 0.041, R value of 24.4 for an R20. Now, here is the kicker. Infiltration, what they have assumed in your base model is an ACH natural based on a user estimate. And this ACH natural is very leaky. This is a leaky house. So this is like an old leaky house. We haven't done anything for the air sealing. Over here, we've got a 1 ACH blower door test. And this is particularly why this is absolute bogus. This particular very nice and very legit and honest spray foam contractor, who, by the way, is an owner operator. So this guy is the salesperson who comes to your house to kind of like spec the job, give you a proposal. When it comes the day of, it's either he or his brother in the suit spraying this stuff. That is the kind of spray foam contractor you want to work with. And this guy was not aware that this was happening, but he's being held to a standard of blower door 1 ACH 50. And he just bought a blower door. And I applaud him because every spray foam contractor should have a blower to be able to test their work. He was not aware that this is an absolute apples to oranges comparison because spray foam does not form a reliable air tightness layer. Well, let me say it again. Spray foam is not a reliable air sealing method. If you have it QC'd, if you have a blower door test, if you find the leaks as they exist and fix them, then we can deal with this. But you could do the same thing with fiberglass. In fact, I'll just point out that in my house, which achieved 30% better than passive house, there is no spray foam in my house at all. You can do this job, this air sealing, with anything except spray foam as well. Spray foam is not a bad product, but it's this lying stuff that really just gets on my nerves because you don't have to do that. So I just wanted to make sure that you understood how these reports are put together and where you can find where the lying is happening. If something looks too good to be true, it is absolutely too good to be true. State officials, if you're watching this, please relook at your codes that say you can use less spray foam and get the same R value. It's not true. This is non-science. And you will get in trouble about it. I just read a really excellent piece from Vermont about the perils of spray foam and how spray foam is being shoved down people's throats as a weatherization tool because there's a lot of low-income weatherization. You need products that are fast and cheap, and spray foam is increasingly that. A lot of my clients are going to have to go with spray foam instead of other things because it just happens to be less expensive and faster. So let's all be realistic about what spray foam is and what it is not. And this is something that it's not. So make sure that you comment below if you have other things to add about spray foam. And if you're a spray foam contractor, be one of the guys like I was just talking about, this client of mine who's an awesome guy who now understands how these reports work and is not going back to that guy. Let's all work together to make sure that homes can work and be healthy and also be energy efficient and all the things that the state governments want. Like, subscribe, tune in next time.